For All Mankind, Season 4, Episode 9, Brazil. We're in the penultimate episode. The asteroid heist is still on. They haven't finalized it yet, but that makes sense because it's a big heist, right? They want to save it for the finale. So I predicted that we probably weren't going to see Kelly again until the finale, and they were going to end it with her like possibly discovering life. But she's like already back from her mission to that crater on the other side of Mars, and like she has a scene where she's talking about exciting findings, but nothing's conclusive. So I did predict that she was going to find something, but they weren't going to be sure what it was. But I also predicted that that was going to be how the season ends. So I got that one half right. There's also like there's still time for it to develop further. I don't know if that's going to be something that they have like a definitive plot development on this season. Before I get into like the crux of the episode, there was one thing that I noted that made me mad, and it's one character is recording a message to home and makes mention of how they're going to get their granddaughter to be a Trekkie. They're going to make them watch all 3 series. And this is set in 2003. And in our timeline in 2003, if you count the animated series, there are 6 Star Trek series. So what happens to half of those series in this timeline? What, we get like the actual space program and that means we have to have less Star Trek? Come on. Ronald D. Moore, you're the showrunner on this thing. You got your start on Star Trek. Don't do them dirty like this. But this episode, the last episode, they were getting everything together for the heist. They've got their woman on the inside up on the spaceship that's actually capturing the asteroid, and that's kind of where they left things. But this episode, they start to, or I should say, the powers start to suspect something is going on. They start noticing a bunch of suspicious package transfers. They start noticing things like, well, these were scanned in without inspecting the contents, so there might be something going on, and there's suspicion that there might be like a terrorist attack being planned involving the thing. But also, because the heist guys used their North Korean contact to get access to North Korea's own surveillance system set up around the base, they did that just with their North Korean contact, but not with approval of the North Koreans themselves. It was just the one guy. And so the North Korean political officer, he finds the tap on the surveillance line and goes and files a formal complaint saying, you guys are spying on us. You entered sovereign North Korean soil, and we, lodge a formal complaint. And, obviously they're just like, oh, so you want us to go and investigate who was spying on your spying? But even so, with that complaint, that does give them enough to be like, there's something else going on here. And as it turns out, there are both KGB and CIA agents on Mars, and they're working together now. KGB, CIA, holding hands, singing Kumbaya, performing enhanced interrogations together. It's a wonderful thing. You love to see this kind of international cooperation. But my guess is that next episode, they're going to figure it out like right before they execute, because the plan is they're swapping out a discriminator box on the spaceship that's supposed to receive the telemetry data for a controlled burn to slingshot the asteroid off of Mars. And the plan is replace the discriminator so that they can send their own telemetry data, which will cause them to burn 5 minutes longer, which will slow the asteroid down enough that it is permanently captured in Mars orbit, rather than just slingshotting around. My guess is they're going to figure out what it is, but like they'll do an impassioned plea to Daniel Poole to go along with it, because if the asteroid doesn't stay in Mars orbit, the nations of Earth are going to abandon Mars. They're not going to develop it out, and it's just going to die. I'm betting that's where we're going with this. But for right now, there's a lot of people getting beaten and interrogated, and some people getting strangled as everyone's trying to, cover up their part of it and keep things going. So a lot of intrigue there. Blood Video Company says, For All Mankind fails Super Star Trek. Well, yeah, I mean, it's Ronald D. Moore. Like, Ronald D. Moore used to be called the Klingon guy. He wrote all of the best Klingon episodes of like TNG and Deep Space Nine. He cut his teeth. He got his start in television writing for The Next Generation. So yes, this is a very Star Trek show. I'm pretty sure every single season has made reference to Star Trek. There's even a scene in season 2 where a character is mad at another character and spoils that Spock dies in Wrath of Khan. So yeah, no, Star Trek has always been referenced in this show, and there's obviously a lot of love among the cast and crew for it. I think Mike Okuda, who designed the LCARS computer panels from The Next Generation, among a whole bunch of other stuff in Star Trek, I think he is one of the production designers on the show. So yeah, there's a lot of Star Trek people involved with this show. Mighty Yahoo says, wait, Spock dies in Wrath of Khan Re. Yeah, sorry, spoilers for a movie that came out like 40 years ago. It's okay, he got better. But all of that is going on mostly on Mars. The Earthbound drama has more to do with Sergei and Margot, because Sergei last episode warned Margot, you got to get away from your KGB handler, Roscosmos boss, because she was my KGB handler from the beginning. This will be like, now that you're in the States, this might be your last opportunity to get away from her. And he proposes, this episode's called Brazil, he proposes that they flee to Brazil and work with the Brazil Space Agency, which, you know, get amnesty from the government of Brazil to help build up their space program, and that's a way that they can get away from, you know, both the US and Soviet governments. Now, I won't tell you where this plot goes, because it's a big twist at the end of this episode, so I will have more to say on that next week. But that being said, I am really excited to see where this show's going. Things are getting tense. People are dying. It's a wild ride, and I don't know where it's going. I'm almost positive that the asteroid heist will go off successfully, because the point of the show is they want to build out the space program. And since the whole stakes of this are, if the asteroid is sent to Earth to be mined, then there's no reason to build out Mars. So it makes sense to me that they will succeed. Anyway, that is my thoughts for this week for All Mankind. Hey, thanks for watching. Your view means a lot. Don't forget to toss me a like and subscribe and ring the bell. And drop a comment below telling me what you thought of the video. I stream Mondays and Fridays at 5 p.m. Pacific and Sundays at 2, so catch me live and join in on the convo. You can find all my socials in the description below, and thank you to all my patrons, with a very special shout out to my Whaled Shark tier patron Ryan D and my Anemone Friend tier patron Piftle Cakes. Your support means the world. Catch you next time.